So with Mr. T, I wanted to do a little bit of how toys could also motivate behavior. So for example, having some nice toy drive is a great way to also create some lovely behavior for other skill sets. So I know I tried working this a little bit before where you can use a toy to create some helpful loose leash walking skills or even recall. So you can see Mr. T has some really great toy drive. He loves tuggy toys. He likes little sheepskin tugs as well. So remember that as we're practicing, so let's say he's got the toy in his mouth and I keep making it wiggle, that means we're still playing. If, for example, I wanted to end the play, I tend to go ahead, get his attention, say Teddy, maybe get his attention on me, and then feed for the let go. Now he's like, lady, I'm ready for round number 2. We're gonna go take it. And the toy becomes alive and he can go and catch it again. So this is, again, a little bit smaller. It's handheld versus doing like the flirt pole. Flirt poles are a great option as well, but they're not so easy to transport. So if you were trying to work on, let's say, some loose leash walking, and you wanted to have a toy to drive behavior, Mr. T says, I'm already getting exhausted, is you could use this toy then for motivation. So I might get his attention on it. Ready? He's like, yes. And I might go again, ready, Teddy, with me. Take a few little steps together. Ready? So I show him the toy, get his attention on me. Yes. And then for doing it, he's like, no, I'm distracted. So then obviously when there are some other distraction in the environment, sometimes he might bounce in and out of the practice. I know I mentioned earlier we have some work being done on the building. So he might be a little bit extra distracted today, which is perfectly fine. But I want him to think there's a benefit to bouncing back from the distraction and coming back and checking in with me or the toy play. He says, now I'm already winded. Go get that toy, you wild monkey. So if, let's say, we had a little bit of toy drive and now he's already exhausted, oh, he's going for the water dish potentially too, is definitely keep your session short and sweet for greater success. So if you're finding when you're playing until your pup almost wants to give up, then you may be working too long of a duration for that practice. Ready, Teddy? Nice job. So he went and had a little drink. Maybe now he feels better. We'll see if he maybe wants to play, but if he's not interested, he can always take a break. So we'll work a little bit with some other skills for a moment. Good job, Teddy. So maybe what we'll go into is a little bit with our loose leash walking again and just feed for those lovely responses. So right now, remember, even though this looks very similar to what we've been working on earlier, we have more distractions in the actual training space than we did previously. Ready, Teddy? So again, I don't mind if he's on the left or the right. The main goal is that he's being soft and near the leg. Ready? So soft, what I mean by that is if, let's say, he was on a leash, there'd be no tension from him or from me while on the equipment. Nice job, Teddy. Sometimes, too, he is watching. So I would take moments to go, yes, and then feed him for while he's watching the gentleman be putting the wires up into the building. Yes. Because I know sometimes novelty can also be spooky. Yes. So right now, all I'm doing is marking him watching, yes, and feeding for watching that thing. Ready? And let's say he's getting a little too excited or intimate with the behavior. I'm going to do a find it to help him disengage. So if at times your babes are being, let's say, comfortable watching something novel, you may want to do the watch that or look at that game. Again, I can send you more info on that exercise, but it is some of the info that was in one of the pattern games, the documents there too. But getting your puppy to sometimes watch something they find a little overwhelming or exciting is another great way to get them comfortable with that dynamic, but always within their comfort range. Nice job, Mr. T. Ready? So we'll do a little bit with that loose leash walk-in. Ready with me? So as of right now, I am using my hand to kind of lure him around, but I do sometimes then put it up towards my hip or my side. Nice. Ready, Teddy? There is the train that just went by as well. Ready? Find it. So sometimes if there's a noise distraction and he has a bit of a hard time, don't view the food as always, let's say, for example, a distraction, but more so as I'm trying to pair the fun that he finds in food with things he finds sometimes a little bit overwhelming or jarring or a little bit flustering. So if, let's say, every time you smelt a really gross smell, someone gave you, let's say, $1,000, you may start to look for that odor and try to pick it up with your nose to hopefully win another $1,000. So even though you may not find the odor appealing, the benefit paired with it is quite exciting. So you may find for him to build up his value around novelty and not finding novelty to either be spooky or too exciting is a great way to kind of think about it that way. Nice job. Ready, Teddy? He says, I'm getting so exhausted. Yes, what a good boy. Ready? With me? He's like, I'm so tired, I'm lagging behind. That was very good. What a smart man. Ready? You want to do another little find it? We'll give you a little break. So obviously you can see that when you're practicing with your lovelies is make sure to keep things within their comfort range and within their ability. If you're finding training is becoming a tedious or overwhelming or a chore, then we're not maybe doing it the right way. Remember, training is happening the whole day with your dog. So if you are letting them do things you don't really love by passively working with them throughout the day, you may find management to be very beneficial. So limiting where he can and can't go. So Teddy. Yes, nice job checking in. So limiting where Mr. T could go, which I know at home he is managed, which is lovely. But let's say, for example, your babe might be struggling with some of this as well. About probably 75% of training is technically comes down to management. So what your dog can or can't do, and Mr. T says he might want to go out again. You want to go out for another potty break. That's allowed. But management is really beneficial because it prevents the rehearsal of the behavior you don't want your dog to get good at. So if your dog is able to window shop, which means that they're maybe barking out your window in the front part of the home as people or items or cars are driving by, your babe is now getting really good at getting overwhelmed, seeing the distraction, and then barking until the distraction goes away, which means from their perspective, barking made them feel safe again or gave them an outlet. So if you're not a huge fan of those behaviors, remember that if they rehearse that for maybe 5 to 7, 8 hours a day, when you go elsewhere, your dog may feel the exact same way when they see something that could be triggering or stimulating. So if your dog starts to get in the habit of barking at every single new thing that passes by, the next time you're maybe on a walk and something novel pokes out, your babe might do the exact same behavior while you're out on a walk. So for now, if your dog doesn't know what to do instead, don't set them up for those moments where their only option is failure. Nice job, Mr. T. So right now as he's watching the gentleman, I've been doing a couple little find its and keeping him intrigued. Nice. So now I'm again pairing the novel thing with an easier exercise than going into his stay on his dog bed or whatever it might have been prior. Ready? Find it. We'll give Mr. T a little break because he did a really nice job and I can tell he's getting tired.